Greetings, everyone. Hello there. This is your introduction to flute. From the very first sounds made, I'll give you some instruction based on my previous experience as a middle school band director, having started at least 100 flute players over the course of my career. I also began my journey toward being a music teacher by playing the flute. This flute, to be exact, my mother played it in high school, so I can assist with your journey as well. Flute is actually one of the most difficult instruments to start on. I have met many wonderful musicians who struggle with the flute from the very beginning. When any person is just starting out on the flute, they should focus on the fundamental sounds. I believe this is the case with any wind instrument and particularly flute. When I was a band director, each of my students would start rehearsals with what we call fundamental sounds, buzzing for brass instruments, sounds on just mouthpieces with barrels, or necks on the single reeds. This helps warm up the embouchure, or the shape of the mouth necessary to properly play the instrument before a student plays. Brass players have done this for a long time, often making different pitches and recreating their actual musical lines on just their mouthpieces. As a woodwind pedagogue, I believe that although woodwind players such as flutists or clarinetists cannot change pitches on their fundamental parts alone, playing on fundamental parts is essential to the warm-up. It is also essential for beginners who are learning to play. So, now that I've convinced you to use your fundamental parts, here's how to do that on flute. All sound comes from vibration, right? Correct. Brass players create vibrations by the buzzing that they do inside of their mouthpieces, kind of like this. Single reeds, such as clarinet and saxophone, use that single reed to vibrate against the often hard plastic mouthpiece, although the reed has to be slightly wet in order to vibrate. For double reeds, such as bassoon and oboe, both sides of a double reed vibrate against each other, creating the unique, wonderful, woody sound of double reeds. And those reeds have to be extremely wet in order to make a sound, or as we call it in the double reed biz, to get them to speak. The flute is totally different from other woodwind instruments, both in that it is made entirely of metal. Here's most of it. It is made entirely out of metal and it does not use a reed. The key system on the flute is based on a system created by the woodwind pedagogue Boehm that happened even before the saxophone was invented. And the key system is really similar to that of other woodwind instruments, which is why this flute is referred to as a woodwind and not just a flute. What vibration makes a sound on a flute, you might ask? That is called an edge tone. If you can blow on a bottle, this is a pink grapefruit soda, delicious and refreshing. Usually any bottle full of liquid, you can make a fundamental sound on the flute. Let's give this a try. First, you get a bottle of some sort, a plastic water bottle, a glass soda bottle. Let's keep it all ages here. There we go. Fill the bottle with some sort of all ages liquid. Again, this is pink grapefruit soda. I'm going to drink a little bit of it so that the tone sounds good. We're going to get our embouchure set. Let's go for it. So what I'm going to do with my lips is I'm going to make this sort of what I call a flat sigh. Have you ever made that sound when you're frustrated? You might be able to imagine how the lips look like when we do that. Try that a couple times. Flat sigh. Get that air moving. Got it? Okay. Let's take that flat sigh. We're going to match it up with our bottle. I'm going to take one edge of the bottle opening and I'm going to put it right in the middle of my bottom lip. And I'm going to try to make that flat sigh again, right in the center, like a line through the bottom of my lip. I'm going to make that flat sigh. If you're having trouble with it, try leaning your head a little forward or leaning your head a little back until you find that really sweet spot. I'm going to try it again. Sometimes I like to wet my lips just a little bit before I do that. As you see, I get a really strong sound in one point, but if I move my head a little too far forward or a little too far back, we have trouble. If you've got a bottle, let's go back and forth. I'll try it, you try it. I'll point to you when it's your turn. There you go. Now, because I drank a liquid with sugar in it, I'm going to drink some water before I put my mouth on my flute. Now we're going to try to get that same edge tone going on the flute. The first thing you need is the fundamental part, which for you is just the head joint. You're looking at the lip plate, okay? This is the lip plate, this raised area. And then you are looking for the blowing edge. So there's more lip plate over here, less lip plate over here. The part with more lip plate is where you'll find your blowing edge. You'll take that, put that very bottom of what's called the embouchure hole here. Again, 3 terms: lip plate, blowing edge with more lip plate here, and the embouchure hole. You're going to take that blowing edge, again, make that kind of flat side. Place the blowing edge, just like the bottle, into the center of your lip. What I like to do to make the best, most rich, vibrant tone is I take my hand, I completely cover the end of the head joint. Again, blowing edge, middle of your lip. Do you want to try it back and forth? Let's go. We're going to try back and forth with the metronome. So again, blowing edge, center of your lip, hand is here. I'm going to play for 4, you're going to play for 4. Let's try that. How did you do? If you're having trouble with that, I would recommend pausing here, rewinding, start from the top. Blow on the bottle. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure there's a little moisture on your lips. And then try on the head joint again. You want to make sure, for me, the richest sound comes when I have, you can almost see a little hole on my hand. The edge of the head joint, the very end of the head joint is going to be right on the stretched out palm of my hand. Again, kind of moving that head back and forth can change that sound. Just keep working through that until you find the sweet spot. Now, when you're going to play your flute and you're going to start warming up, what to add to your warm-up. See if you can get different sounds in different registers on just the head joint. You can't get all the different pitches, but you can try a couple things. See if you can get a higher register. You overblow, you tighten that bottom lip a little bit. Overblow, see how it goes. I'm out of shape, so I have a little bit of trouble with that, but you can make different sounds within the register for that. I had one other flute teacher taught me something to make it sound like a slide whistle, and that's really cool. So you play out here. It looks a little silly, but middle schoolers love this sound. When you're playing, when you want to get a better tone, you want to get a better handle on what you're doing, start with the fundamentals. You will not regret it. fundamental parts, if you can do this,